Okay, it's like my fifth try. For some reason, it just decided to stop working. I was mid video, this video, and all of a sudden it went, nah. I started getting errors, had to reboot the computer and all that other wonderful stuff. All right, so I will try this all over again. I want to start out by thanking people for trying to tell me who my favorite players are. If you haven't checked out the video I did today on my 15 favorite Canucks of all time, I think it's hilarious how people try to tell me I'm wrong about my favorite things. That's just, I find it really really funny that happens. It always happens. As I was uploading it, I said to my wife, I said I can't wait for people to tell me that I'm wrong about who my favorite players are. She said, "Well, of course, you don't know who your favorites are." It's just really weird. It's like, you'd be sitting, I just imagine sitting in a restaurant. I would actually really like to have filet mignon. Excuse me. You don't want that. I really like filet mignon. No, you don't. No, you want the hamburger. I don't think I want the hamburger. Yeah, you do. That's their best food here. But that's not what I'm ordering. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm telling you what you want. It's so strange. It's just as bizarre to me. So I'm I always laugh when that happens. Well, where's this guy? Okay, if he's not on my favorites, it doesn't mean anything about the greatest of all time. So I always get a kick out of that. And also, while I'm at it, this I got from, of course, Ben H Sports. Ben, who is doing the jersey sales full time at this stage, and so with Ben right now, if you're on the American side of the border, good news. The American dollar's way up, which means that since he sells in Canadian dollars, the price you have to pay has gone way down. Not only that, but if you're on the Canadian side of the border, I think the prices are going to start going up for a lot of things. I've noticed shopping on eBay, if something's in American dollars, I don't want it anymore. So I do anticipate he'll probably get a little busier, and these jerseys are on for dirt cheap because dirt cheap comparatively speaking with the initial asking price, because they just didn't sell this year. The All-Star jerseys didn't sell this year like they did last year. I understand why. I kind of sort of get it. The silver on the stripes are nice and everything, but I don't think that the logos went over very well with fans. I don't have a Bruins one. I'll never get a Bruins one. It's ugly. There are certain ones that are just really kind of ugly, and I don't think that helped. I think last year's parlay jerseys were the best All-Star jerseys that we've seen, but that's a debate I can have at another time. I definitely have enough All-Star jerseys now that I could do some sort of a collection look at the All-Star jerseys and how they've evolved over the years and whatnot. So, that aside, let us jump into news of the day. And the Combine, the awards, the draft, yesterday the NHL announced. Those are all postponed, officially. We don't have an end date, and that's the thing. We don't actually have a date. The NHL's making this up as they go along. They're in constant contact with health officials and all of this, and they're trying to figure out a way that they can push it back far enough. And so's the NBA to some degree. And the NFL is going to be affected by this. Major League Baseball, clearly we're not going to have opening day when we thought we would. That's already gonna be gone. And so, Major League Sports is trying to figure out a way to make things as safe as possible for their players, for their fans, and to have some kind of a plan going forward. But they're all making it up as it goes along. They really, really are. Jonathan Toews has donated $100,000 to the cause of helping fight what's going on and in relief efforts, and that's great. We've seen some players bringing together funds for workers for teams, or in this case for their community and for people at large, and that's important right now. The ability to give back and to help out. My wife's got a whole bunch of masks she's made today. She gave out some caps she made for nurses locally. They need surgical caps, and there just aren't enough. There's not enough materials to go around. So if you're in that field, tip of the cap from me to you. And I think that coming out of this, we always have Military Appreciation Night, which is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with Military Appreciation Night. We also have the Hockey Fights Cancer that takes place. We have your Pride Nights that take place as well. I don't have any problem with any of these things. I think it's good to have these theme nights. I think coming out of all this, we need to have a theme night for medical professionals, and money going towards helping them. I think coming out of this, it has shown that uh, there are some holes in every medical system in the world. There's not any one country that you go, oh, that one's really no. There's holes in all of them. Like I said, my wife's giving out masks locally. Some of them going to local hospitals, and so that's an issue. And again, this may be a once in a lifetime thing. We certainly all hope so. But the idea is trying to be more prepared. And I don't think there's anything wrong with us giving back and thanking healthcare professionals when this is all done, because they're on the front lines. Donald Fear, NHLPA head, is agreeing that the most important thing when we talk about the route forward is to have an 82 game season next year, to be able to have a full season next year. And figure out how to make that work whenever it starts. So if it starts in November, fine, but figure out a way to make it an 82 game schedule in November. I'm thinking a squashed schedule. I am thinking that for myself, for what I do here, for the NHL previews and reviews that I do, I'm in for a really busy season next year, where those nights of 2 or 3 games and nice easy night, those aren't going to exist next year, is my thought. And maybe they have some kind of a condensed schedule that we see more nights of 14 or 15 games than we've ever seen before. So it's going to be a busy time for NHL players once we have come out the other side of this. Kyle Clifford, if you're a Leafs fan and you want to see Clifford stay in Toronto, the good news is apparently he and the Maple Leafs are both interested in getting an extension done. I would be very surprised to see any extensions get done during this time. I think that because we don't know what's going to happen with the cap, because we don't know what's going to happen with the possibility of compliance buyouts, like we don't know what's going to happen with the salary cap and what's going to happen with contracts and all this. I don't think anything with UFAs gets done until we know for sure. But apparently there's mutual interest in getting it done and getting it set up so he stays in Toronto. So depending on your opinion of Kyle Clifford, this is either great news or iffy news. Nope, Pixel, you missed him. Shadow ducked buyer. So, and if you're curious at all about the cats, I wish there were cat videos. Yeah, Entertainment Guy, there are cat videos. The only one I haven't done a video specifically on right now is Lilybell. So yeah, that aside, now she's hissing at him. He probably turned around and, what, you're chasing me? So anyways, cats aside. We'll see if Clifford stays in Toronto. Bauer. Hockey manufacturer, they are going to be manufacturing visors for healthcare workers. So in this time where definitely more equipment is needed, Bauer's stepping up. We're seeing other factories step up as well. Say, hey, we'll help. We'll produce some stuff to help people out, and that's great. So again, thank you, Bauer, for everything you guys are doing. It's great to see, and I would imagine other factories will step up as well. There's going to be a lot of factory space that's not being used. As of, for instance, I got an email yesterday from Geeky Jerseys. If there's jerseys that are currently shown as being in their inventory, they can ship them out. But anything that hasn't been manufactured yet, it's going to be down for a while. So everything gets put on hold. You've got to think these are factories that can be repurposed for other reasons, and it's highly likely that could happen. Mark Cuban. Now, I know he's not an NHL owner, but what he says kind of resonates through the sports world. He's saying that how companies treat staff right now, during this once-in-a-lifetime instance, is going to affect how people view brands and companies for potentially decades. Because it's going to show which owners have a lot of heart and care about their staff and which ones just care about the whole bottom line and the money side of things. And I know there are going to be people who say, it doesn't really matter, but it does. And at this point in time, there is some public shaming that I don't really agree with that goes on, but it does happen. So we'll probably see some more of that as this continues, as this ramps up. So yeah, we are seeing some good stories. It is important to focus on the good, and Mark Cuban's right. There are some companies that aren't looking too good right now. And when they post on social media, they get called out right away. So they'll be like, hey, come in today and get this. Hey, we're selling this. And underneath it says, too bad you don't care about your staff as much as your money. So there's a lot of that going on right now. Nick Foligno. He's advising teammates to stay in shape. Stay ready to go. Stay ready. That's a military thing too. Get ready and wait. That was something that I know when the military was in Chilliwack, and I was always around engineers, and engineers, of course. There was a lot of minesweeping stuff that was going on in the Middle East at the time, and in parts of Europe. And I would ask them, I'd say, so what are you guys doing? Well, get ready and wait. We got told we could be deployed anytime, so just be ready. And right now, if you're a sports athlete, there's a similar mindset there to we need to be ready. And they've been told also to try to stay on a set schedule. That's the recommendation from team doctors and for trainers and whatnot from trainers is stay on a set schedule. Try to avoid vacation mode. So sort of like for me, for instance, I could wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I don't know, I'm not going to do hockey videos today. I'm going to watch Star Wars for all day. No. You have to stay on a schedule. I stay on a schedule. Even during the off season, I stay on a schedule. And so players are being told to do that. Stay on a set schedule and, work out as much as they can from home. And no, it won't be game shape, but if they can avoid the shape that players used to get into in the 80s, where, in the off season you kind of enjoyed yourself. You'd kind of sit around and maybe have a little bit more to eat than you're supposed to, and maybe the kind of food you're not supposed to eat, and you'd come into camp maybe 15, 20 pounds heavier than you were at the end of the playoffs or at the end of the regular season. That was just normal, and now that doesn't happen as much as it used to. Players are a lot more disciplined than they were back then, and so we'll see. Because, again, part of it is this. So let's just say that they start playing in late July. Players between now and late July, they get into some really bad habits. The amount of time you need to have sort of a mini training camp and ramp things up to hockey extends. It gets a lot worse if everybody comes in and they're gassed just from climbing the stairs to get into the building. That's when you know there's a problem. So players are being told to stay ready, and this is going to be probably a longer layoff than any of them have had in a very long time. Jake Gensel, already Jim Rutherford's come out and said, yeah, Gensel will be ready to go. So we're at a stage now where if we can salvage something, players are going to be healthy. We are still at a stage where only 2 players have tested positive in the entire National Hockey League, and so this is something that we can see some light. For those of us who are trying, we do see some light at the end of the tunnel. How long the tunnel is, that's the whole question. Is it a 2-month tunnel? Is it a 4-month tunnel? Is that light? Is it an oncoming train? We just don't know. But we'll see. We're still figuring this out day by day. So thank you guys so much for your continued support of the channel, for continuing to tune in daily. I will continue to make videos daily. Don't worry, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and just eat ice cream and watch Star Wars movies all day. That's not going to happen. We don't have ice cream in the house, and I don't know that I could sit through Star Wars movies back to back to back to back. Anyways, so yeah, I will be here daily making videos for all of you fine people out there. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will get through this. So, hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And, most important things, stay safe, stay home for those of us who can, and wash your hands. Frequent hand washing does work. Take it from somebody who has avoided the flu quite often and doesn't get sick nearly as much as he used to. It works. It's something simple, and you don't think it's going to make a big difference, but it does. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot. I will talk to you again soon.